Following on from my recent video about how phobic responses might be a good testing ground for determining the effectiveness of different types of special effects, I'd like to outline for you arachnophobics out there how I got rid of my pathological fear of spiders, which had lasted from early childhood right through to my mid-20s when I got into self-hypnosis. These days I can be momentarily creeped out by fast-running spiders like most people, but I don't get nightmares or have trouble sleeping if I know there's one somewhere in the bedroom. And even the fast ones, which I always feared, I can now touch and then laugh at as they scuttle away. When I first started attending hypnotherapy practice groups, there was one occasion in which I volunteered to be a demonstration subject for a phobia cure. The instructor put me into a mild trance and instructed me to recover through dreaming the repressed or consciously forgotten childhood memory through which I acquired my fear of spiders. It was obviously a very early memory because I couldn't remember having ever not been arachnophobic. 2 weeks later, the hypnotic instruction really kicked in. I had a nightmare that I was dying on the floor of my mother's living room, surrounded by huge spiders, each several feet in diameter. There were a variety of species, red ones, black ones, grey ones, fat ones, skinny ones. Some of them were dead, and others were killing each other. And up in the corner of the room was my uncle's face, looking down on me and laughing. Drenched in sweat, I screamed my way out of the nightmare,
Holy shit!
took a shower and went back to bed, and then as I was trying to get back to sleep, the meaning of the dream dawned on me, and the actual memory that caused the phobia popped into consciousness. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, my uncle had caught a fly in a container and then released it into a spider's web in my bedroom window frame. We then watched the hiding spider come out of its hole, paralyze the fly, and drag it back to its dark lair. As if that wasn't bad enough, my uncle then took a huge glass bowl and went around the house collecting every spider he could find from the backs of cupboards, underneath carpets and so on, and he put them all into the glass bowl. There must have been about a dozen live spiders, and here's the really creepy part. As a sort of educational nature exercise, my uncle sat with me in the kitchen, and for what felt like an hour, we watched the spiders kill each other in the glass bowl. This was how I got my early fear of spiders, and in the nightmare I'd had, brought on by hypnosis, I was in the glass bowl with the spiders, with my uncle's face watching me from above. And this recalled another memory. I consciously remembered another experience that intensified the phobia when I was about 8 years old. My family and I had moved into a house in Canada, having emigrated from England. Now in Canada, spiders often grow to bigger sizes than British ones. And one hot summer night when I was going to sleep, my mother had opened my bedroom window to let some cool air in, not realizing that outside of the window, which had been closed throughout the entire winter, there were lots of spider webs. So what happened? Lots of those spiders then came into my bedroom in the dark while I was going to sleep. I saw one of them crawl onto the side of my mattress, about a foot away from my face. I flinched and the movement of the mattress made the spider panic. It ran toward me and I leaped out of bed screaming and ran out the room. When my mother came and switched the light on, there they were, about half a dozen spiders running about my bedroom walls looking for a hiding place. I was petrified. Subconsciously, it was like my bedroom had become the glass bowl spider killing ground from a couple of years earlier. So we lived in that house for another 6 months, and although my mother never opened that window again, every night I went to sleep worrying that there were still spiders hiding in my room that my mother had not killed. Okay, so consciously recovering these memories in itself wasn't enough to cure the phobia, but it did allow me to start reinterpreting and recoding the memories. So I did some of the standard NLP tricks, like mentally watching my younger self in the memory from a third-person perspective and viewing the memory in black and white in my mind's eye with the sound turned down. These tricks helped, but only so much. You see, it wasn't just the memories that were the problem, it was the beliefs about spiders that the memories had given me. So I started writing down all the specific things that another, non-phobic person would have to think and believe about spiders in order to have my phobic response. They'd have to mentally visualize spiders as being much larger than they actually are, imagine being chased by them and bitten by them, and so on. At the same time, I started noticing that other people who had arachnophobia had some interesting physical reactions when I asked them to think about spiders. The most common was that they looked like they were being tickled, and it was because they were imagining the physical sensations of spiders running around on their bodies. In fact, they described it that way when I asked them.
There's something crawling on me. I feel it. It's something in my pants, but we'll deal with that later.
It's in your pants. I'm gonna crush him.
Oh my God.
Stop it now! Get rid of him!
All
Not
right.
funny! Zach,
That means
there's a
something.
spider in your office. Where'd it go?
Stop it! Where is it at? I'm serious.
Zach, it's on your shoulder.
I'm serious.
I'm so that's bad. Get it off me. Get it off. Get it in.
It's on you.
Get it off. What is it? Come on, take it off.
But when I asked people who weren't scared of spiders whether it would bother them to have one run over their flesh, a lot of them said it would, and they would even physically wriggle at the thought when answering the question, but they weren't arachnophobic generally. So I started asking them why, and one person gave me a response that was a revelation. He said, "Why would a spider try to run on you when all they want to do is try and escape out of their own sense of fear?" At that moment something in my mind snapped, and I felt my arachnophobia massively decrease in intensity. For years I'd mistakenly believed that spiders would want to crawl on me if they saw me. Those rare instances when spiders do crawl onto people are not because they want to bite, it's because they're trying to hide or find some sort of nesting place and don't realise that they are actually crawling onto a giant organism that is likely to kill them. But in most instances, they simply run away in fear.
Oh no, he's gonna crawl my neck. Come on, little dude. I want to crush him. There we go. Look at that. And that, my friends, is how you remove a spider. Cool, calm, collective.
And that got me thinking about whether there was any other way in which I was mentally distorting the reality of spiders without realising it. So I did a little reading up on them, and very few spiders can actually bite through human skin. They're actually harmless, and the number of spider bites reported annually in the UK from over 60 million people is sometimes less than 100.
The idea is to threaten him without actually hurting him. I don't want him to lose any legs today, but I need to convince him that I deserve to be bitten. The spider cannot be induced to bite.
And I also realised that there are many species of spider that I can comfortably hold, like the small or slow-moving ones with pretty colours and tiny legs. It was the larger, fast-moving, long-legged species that specifically bothered me. Cockroaches are actually just as terrifying as spiders for most people, but very few households have cockroaches, so the domestic commonality of unfortunately named house spiders seems to be a factor.
No.
Take this off. It's black. It might blend in.
I swear.
You can't sleep in it.
What do you mean?
You can't sleep in bed.
What do you
It's
mean?
flipped over. It's under that. I know it. I'm serious. We gotta get it before we come. If you take that pillow away and it's gone, we're not sleeping in this bed.
Okay. Torn his room apart.
This is not a laughing matter. I have a condition.
Look down on underneath there and just see if you can see where it's at.
Where's like a fetching?
I don't know. Just get down and look.
No.
Oh, there it is! There it is! You pee.
So these various facts helped lessen the phobia further. But the final nail in the coffin was when I tried out a reverse psychology technique that I'd already used in other contexts like fear of job interviews and so on. Now whether any of you arachnophobics out there want to try this is at your own discretion. It really did the trick for me, but I don't know if it will work so well for everyone else. In fact, there might even be a risk for some people that this technique could make the phobia worse. What I did was I sat down comfortably for about 20 minutes and I deliberately visualized the most horrible thoughts about spiders that I could think of. I imagined being chased by them, swarmed by them, paralyzed by them, eaten by them. The thoughts were so visceral that my heart was pounding and my hands were trembling. But no matter how bad it felt, I just kept making the visualizations more and more intense and terrifying. And you know what? It reached a point after about 5 or 10 minutes where the visualization seemed so over the top and ridiculous that the feelings of fear began to fade. In fact, it became mildly amusing. I was desensitizing myself to the very thoughts that had been lurking unconsciously in my mind since childhood. And the realization that I could not for the life of me think of a spider scenario any more terrifying than the ones I'd already visualized was sort of cathartic. There was no terrifying unknown to fear because I'd already imagined the worst. I also suspect that my body was simply unable to maintain the high levels of fear hormones in my bloodstream that the visualizations induced. So eventually, what I was visualizing just felt more and more watered down, like an old movie with crappy special effects. And after that whole exercise was over, I went back mentally to the childhood phobic experiences I'd had and imagined how those experiences would have felt different had I known at the time all the things I've since learned about spiders and about arachnophobia in general. And you know what? Those memories don't seem so bad now. And I've been arachnophobia free for over 12 years. Thanks for watching.
Okay, there's another one down here and it's a big, massive, massive one. And it's like really massive. Like really massive. Oh. Look at that one. Look at that one. Look at that one. It's right there. It's right there and it's moving and it's moving and it's massive. And there's another one. And I am not kidding you. I'm seriously freaking out right now. Because they're both on my stairs. And my husband is at work and I am freaking out right now. I'm not joking you. I'm not joking you. This one below the stairs, I mean, is huge. It's so huge. You can't even see it. And it started moving up the wall and I'm just freaking out right now. I am freaking out and I know they're just spiders.